U.S. involvement, I'm Ryan Del Rosario, TUNC. U.S. involvement in Syria will only further destabilize the country and the Middle East. Subpoint A. The status quo is fragile as it is. Creating more conflict in Syria will further push Syria towards the brink of disaster. Intervention in Syria could possibly exacerbate violence. Stephen Zunes, professor of politics and international studies at the University of San Francisco and a PhD from Cornell, stated in the Huffington Post, posted on April 4th, 2012 and accessed on September 14th, 2013, empirical studies have repeatedly demonstrated that international military interventions in cases of severe repression actually exacerbate violence in the short term and can only reduce violence in the longer term if the intervention is impartial or neutral. Furthermore, this is not the first time that the U.S. has needlessly become involved in international affairs. We've been here before, and the haste that comes with invasion. In Why the U.S. Should Not Attack Syria by Michael Schenck, journalist for USNews.com, posted August 27, 2013, and last accessed September 29, 2013. We've been here before, the haste that comes with invasion. The White House, of every political stripe, inevitably makes the intervention look essential and urgent. We saw this on Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Yemen, Somalia, Pakistan, and more. And yet, we're leaving these countries no better off. This liberation language isn't bearing fruit. Just observe the continued escalating violence in Iraq and Afghanistan, the instability in Libya and Yemen, the insecurity in Somalia and Pakistan. Our approach is all wrong. Subpoint B, international intervention will only rally the country behind Assad. Foreign intervention will deepen nationalist support for the Syrian Ba'ath Party and Assad regime. In 11 Reasons Why We Should Not Attack Syria by Sarah Van Gelder, journalist for YesMagazine.org, posted August 29th, 2013, and accessed September 29th, 2013. Zunes also reports that hundreds of members of the Syrian Ba'ath Party, a key source of support for Assad, have left the party in outrage over the regime's killing of nonviolent protesters. But, he says, few defections could be expected if foreigners suddenly attacked the country. U.S. intervention would play into the hands of the Syrian regime, triggering an outpouring of air attacks on Syrian positions in Lebanon. And in 2008, after U.S. Army Commando raids in eastern Syria. Strikes could also drag us into war. The potential for escalation is immense. Ted Cruz, Republican Senate in Texas and member of the Armed Services Committee, stated in the Washington Post on September 9th, 2013, and last accessed September 14th, 2013. The potential for escalation is immense. Syria is in the midst of a sectarian civil war, born of centuries-old animosities. We have no clear ally in this Sunni-Shiite conflict, and any limited and proportional strike could quickly get out of control, imperiling our allies and forcing us into the civil war. Subpoint C, with more lives at Assad's disposal, expect casualties. This environment would heighten Syria's substantial sectarian, ethnic, and political divisions pulling the country apart. And should the U.S. strike Syria, these are the 5 smartest arguments by Max Fisher, journalist for the WashingtonPost.com, posted on September 3rd, 2013, and last accessed September 29th, 2013. Assad would remain defiant in the face of an attack. It is not as if he is constrained now, but he would probably step up the violence both to exert control within his country and to demonstrate that the United States and its allies cannot intimidate him. At the same time, the regime's Iranian patrons and Hezbollah supporters would increase their investment in the conflict, meaning more weapons and more fighters pouring into Syria, resulting in more atrocities. And on the other side, Syrian opposition groups would welcome a steady stream of foreign fighters who care more about killing Alawites and Shiites than the fate of the country. This environment would heighten Syria's substantial sectarian, ethnic, and political divisions pulling the country apart. Ezra Klein, writer for the Washington Post and scholar of political science, posted in the WashingtonPost.com on September 9th, 2013, and last accessed September 29th, 2013. Our strikes could result in heavy civilian casualties. It would be the bitterest of ironies if we struck Syria to punish Assad's barbarianism, only to end up killing thousands of more innocent civilians ourselves. The Pentagon is working up a target list with the express intent of limiting Syrian casualties, but the intelligence behind that could be wrong. Remember when we bombed the pharmaceutical plant in Sudan or the Chinese embassy in Belgrade? I now stand open for cross-examination.
In your first argument, you say that that if we attack Syria, it will further disable the Middle East.
Correct.
And if it's further disables the Middle East, then how do you prove that it will disable the Middle East exactly?
How do I prove that?
Yeah.
By attacking, I state in Here we go. Basically, has it ever worked in the past? We've gone into Iraq, Yemen, I even list them off, Afghanistan, Libya, Yemen, Somalia, Pakistan. None of these countries end up better off after U.S. military intervention.
Right, but when we attack Syria, how will it affect Syria and then affect the whole Middle East?
Well, when the U.S. intervenes, the Syrian people are already backing off of supporting Assad. So currently, Assad's actually losing support in his own country due to his recent actions. Attacking will only stir up a national support for the Ba'ath Party and Hezbollah supporters, which they would then rally together to support Assad to maintain the government in their country.
But if he's losing more support, wouldn't you think that striking Assad would benefit Syria rather than hurting Syria?
Not quite, because it shows in the past that basically whenever a country is attacked, they rally around their government for support.